Hi, Vesta. Good morning, Janice. Thank you for being here. Isn't today such a busy and fun day? Hi, Jasmine. The new mini catalog and celebration started today, and it's just so exciting. I've been busy trying to catch my demonstrating friends. They've been doing like little lives through the morning showing product, and I'm trying to keep up with them because I want to support them and share in their excitement. But it's going to be a really busy day. Hi, Carol Beth. Hi, Gail. Hi, Peggy. Oh my goodness, it's just so exciting. So much to do. I'm really hoping that my husband has no plans for today because I want to be close to my computer so that I can just share in the excitement of a new catalog. So, mentioning the catalog, I placed my order this morning because I have to get the product that we're featuring in the Card Play Winter Online Retreat. And so I ordered all that product. I ordered the product that I needed for the Barn Quilt Block of the Month card kits. And so I was waiting very early in the morning because I wanted to make sure that I got my product. Not to say that I wouldn't, but you know, I could go back to bed and sleep better knowing that my order's in, everything's going to be fine. Hi, Pat, and Peggy. So Peggy, I got your card out in the mail. It should be coming to you anytime soon. So the other day we were playing a guessing game for the featured suite that will be the make and takes for the winter retreat. And the winner that I chose is Melanie Foy. It is the perennial lavender suite. Excuse me. There's 2 bundles in this suite. So among the 4 of us, we'll be showing you make and takes from either bundle, but you can use whatever you have at home if you don't have those bundles. But Melanie, I am sending you, I need you to message me your mailing address. I am going to send you a packet of the tinsel gems, the 3-pack and the 4-pack. These colors will go great with the perennial lavender designer series paper. So it's more bling to zhuzh up your cards. So congratulations on guessing that correctly. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Tony. Thank you for sharing. It's just so exciting. So the quilt card that we're going to make today, you are going to love this quilt block. It's so easy. It has texture beyond the quilting. And depending on what designer series paper that you use, or maybe you just want to use colored cardstock, the looks can be so different. So I will be excited to see what you do with it, and would love for you to share your results over in the private group called Quilt Cards and More. What I am featuring today, I'm showing you all celebration product. The designer series paper is celebration, the stamp set is celebration, the embellishments are celebration. To give you some ideas what you can use with that product. One thing I want to go over real quick is the celebration brochure. There's designer series paper that will coordinate with 4 bundles in the mini catalog. And those are Bright Skies, Stippled Roses, Adorning Hearts, and Trusty Tools. So there's a lot of product in the celebration brochure that can be combined with product that you'll find in the mini catalog, just adding to what you can do to step up your cards if that's what you want to do. What do I think will go fast? I think the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper with the birds on it will be popular. And remember, celebration items are while supplies last. And since I am using the softly stippled, the more I use it, the more I think this could be a favorite. And it will coordinate with the stippled roses bundle. The Be Mine suite. Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Easter comes early, I believe, this year. So if there are any holidays that you are wanting, don't wait. We saw that last year with some of the product, and things went really fast. So if you can, order sooner the better, and that way you don't run into either like something not coming back because the inventory was depleted, or you have to wait till more comes in. And then it gets closer and closer to the reason why you wanted to make those cards, and you're waiting anxiously, hoping that they arrive in time. The Perennial Lavender Suite, I think, is going to be really popular because, one thing, lavender is so popular. The color purple is so popular. I think the Excellent Eggs bundle for Easter may be very popular. And I think Poetic Expressions, it's got the colors in that, plus the bundle, has a lot of possibilities to it. I'm really excited that there's a bundle that has a hummingbird in it. There is also another stamp set with a house sparrow. Anything with a bird I get excited about. But those are a few things I wanted to mention right away because everybody's excited about the new catalog and the celebration brochure, and so people are going to be ordering sooner than later. So while I turn the camera around to get ready for our project, please say good morning to each other, and this will just take a few seconds as soon as I can find the widgets that I need. Okay, now we've got to flip the camera. There we go. Okay, looks good on the computer. Now I can just bring in what we're working on. There's a new host code for January. I'm going to get my computer close to me so that I can keep up with comments. And we'll get started. I'm going to need my paper trimmer. And this quilt block, actually, I saw a barn quilt version of this quilt block, and right away I'm looking at it like, how can I make this really simple? And it came together really quickly, and you're gonna love it. And I'm not gonna show it to you before we're done with making our quilt blocks. And then I'm going to show you some examples of the same card, but with different colors that are in the Designer Series paper. So the Designer Series paper has Pool Party, Calypso Coral, Wild Wheat, Lost Lagoon. There's like 2 featured colors. You can go either way. You can go with the blue greens, or you can go with your goldens and your Calypso Coral. I'll show you the Calypso Coral ones when we're done. What we're going to work with today is I'm working with the blue greens and Wild Wheat. So, if you're going to cut your cardstock to make one card, you might as well make 2. Because you're going to get 2 card bases out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I scored it at 5.5 on the 11-inch side, which is the middle. And then I turned it into portrait, and I cut it at 4.25 by 11 to give me my 2 card bases. Okay, and I'm using basic white thick. Using the subtle colors, I thought white really helped showcase these softer colors, so that's why I went with the white. We need, depending on what designer series paper you're choosing to work with, I chose a color that I thought would frame the quilt block really well. So I've got 2 3.25-inch squares of Lost Lagoon. I'm going to build my quilt block on 2 3-inch squares of basic white regular. Okay, and then I need a total of 8 3/4-inch squares, and I want them to match my 3-inch square because this is our background, and I want them to match so that it completes the pattern. Okay, and let's see, I got my buttons for the back. Now for the designer series paper, I had you cut, I chose this one as my focal paper, and then I needed 3, I'm going to use it in my quilt block, but then I wanted 3 more colors that tie in and coordinate. So from that paper pack, here, I'll show you. Here are my 4 1/2-inch by 12-inch strips of designer series paper. The 1.5 by 12-inch strips are going to be some background paper for us. What we're going to do is we're going to cut these in half. So I've got a new blade on my trimmers, and I've already been cutting, but right now, since it's sharp, I can cut all 4 of these at the same time. So I just want to line them all up, and I am going to cut these in half at 6 inches. Bring the trimmer down a little bit. Okay. Oops. I got off a little bit, but because I wasn't holding it, but we're going to trim off a lot of this, so it doesn't matter. So you've got a set for each one of your cards. Oh, yeah, for each one of your cards. And then take that 1.5 by 12, again, cut it in half at 6 inches. And this is just going to be accent paper for the front and back of your card. Okay. How's everybody doing so far? Yes, Sharon, the designer series paper strips are a 1/2 inch. The little squares were 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And, oh, so nice to see you guys chatting away at each other. Okay, so let's keep going. And let's bring in the basic white squares that we're going to be working on. We're going to mark these at the same time. If you're really good at putting your paper on a diagonal from corner to corner, you don't have to do this part, but I love to sketch, and so it just seems like automatic to me that I when I'm sketching designs, that I just put lines that I need to help keep me straight on my block, so that like I said, it'll help keep me straight. So I'm just going to pencil in lightly. I'm going to draw a diagonal going both directions on both of my, I'm a little off on that one, but I'll line it up better once I start working with it. I just want to have a visual line instead of an invisible one to help keep me straight. And there will be a few other ways we can check to see if we're straight as we go along, and I'll show you what you'll be looking for. This is really easy. The more I talk about it, I feel like I might be making it more complicated than it is, but it is not complicated. And like I said, you may be able to eyeball your corner to corner really well. I just like I like seeing it. Okay, so where I want to bring in my mats, and we might as well work on them at the same time as we're doing them. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 4 strips and you're going to break them up into 2 sets. Okay, so what I like to do is what complements each other well. There's good contrast here and there's good contrast there. So you just want to, but I have 2 patterns here, so I'm going to break this up. And then the second one I do, I'm just going to change positions of where I put these. Okay, so let's get this one out of the way. Take your 3-inch square. I'm working with liquid glue so that I have some wiggle room. And I'm going to turn it so that my lines are right in front of me, up and down, vertically and horizontally. And I'm going to take a little bit of glue and I'm just going to like create a U, an upside down U in that corner. And then a corner beside it, I'm going to do it again. And the reason why I'm doing a U is because I want some glue up in that corner to hold the paper down. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first strip and I'm going to lay it to the left of the line, corner to corner. Now there's no glue on this end, so make sure that when you're putting it down that it's still going to be in the corner, and you want to be to the left of your drawn line. And to help you know if you're down the center correctly, your point should land on the straight edge of your designer series paper. Now you can go in and let's put in, we're going to lay our second one. Whoops. And of course this is going to move a little bit because there's no glue holding the other end. I'm just going to butt the second one up to it. Now I can go ahead and glue the other 2 down and then weave, but in case you didn't know, we're weaving a star, okay? But I'm just going to go ahead and put my strips that are going the other way, creating my weave. So what I've done is I've come in under and then over the second one. And when I bring this one in, I want to be under and over. Okay, so see how it's weaving? And now what I can do, or what I will do, is now that I've got them in place, now I'm going to put them down. Okay. And then bring this one in, put it up next to the one that, and because we're weaving, they're going to be a little tighter than the first set that you put down. But just make sure that you get over there. Okay, so if we turn it over, we can check to see that our points are lining up on that line that separates the two pieces of designer series paper. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, it doesn't matter which other end you start in. I like to start with the flap that's laying the flattest. I'm going to flip up both of my flaps. And I'm going to put a U again. And then I'm going to glue this down and put the other one down. Okay, and then turn it and do the same thing. I'm going to talk about the texture that this is creating here in a second, and what you can do if you don't like it. Whoops. Okay. So what I mean is, you can see that there's texture added to our star because I didn't glue the designer series paper all the way down throughout the strip. I've left it so that you can feel and you can see the weave in the design. You can glue it flat if you want to. I don't mind seeing the separation because it's woven. Okay, so that is my thought process on it. So let's do the other one while we're working with it, and I'm just going to change my papers from whatever was on the left. I'm going to switch it to the right, and vice versa on the other side, just to put the paper in a different spot. I'm going to put my U in. And on the other one, let's see, what did I do first? I did the pool party, so I'm going to come in and do the wild wheat. So I'm going to go under and over on one and get my weave there. Okay. And then just work this one in close to the other one. The ends don't have to match because we're going to actually cut them off. And I am all thumbs right now. There we go. Now I'm going to flip this over to make sure that my points are falling on that line. And we'll go back to our first one because it's dried. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim off. I want you to trim off your excess paper. Okay, so just do this to both of them. Okay, so now you'll see that we've got an X. So you've got a quilt block right here already. Okay, and instead of cutting our designer series papers with angles, we just created the angle when we cut off the excess paper. So there's a quilt block already, but we're not done. This is that one block that's your 2 for 1. So I think this is kind of like another version of the Lemoyne Star. Okay, and you just want to make sure that you don't have, oh, I didn't get some glue right there, or it didn't let it stick. And if you have anything that is lifting up, go back in with some of your glue, put it back together. Okay, I didn't get enough on this one either. Maybe I forgot to put the glue on it. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure. Okay, right up there. Wouldn't be the first time that I forgot to put glue on something. Might be the first time I did it live, but it's happened before. Okay, so we've got our X's. Okay, so here's our 2 different quilt blocks. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in, good morning, Betty, how are you? Did I say 3/4 inches for the DSP in the instructions? I did not mean to. That is, that would be an error. I am sorry about that. But at least you're starting with something larger and you can cut it down to a 1/2 inch if we're looking for the silver lining in that. I apologize. I thought I had it all correct. Now put some glue on the back of your squares and we're going to put them in the 4 corners. And what you want to look for is that this point falls on this line and that your other point is up in that corner. Okay, so this is creating that star. So just put all your corners in. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to run them through an embossing folder, which the embossing folder is from the Celebration brochure. It actually comes as a bundle. If your order is $100, you can get the bundle. It's the embossing folder plus a stamp set, which is really nice. I love the design. It's very good for quilt cards. And I like the debossed side instead of the embossed side. Always when you're working with light colored cardstock or paper, try to keep your fingers clean of adhesive because it'll show up really, really well as soon as any little bit of dirt from your hands or something else gets on it. What will work is an adhesive eraser that will help take the adhesive off. But if we can start out nice and clean and not have to go back in and touch up, that's better. So this is how our star came about. And I just love these colors. They're very calming. This is even beachy. So I would say that with these colors that are in the designer series paper, if you have a favorite beach set, like stamps and dies or just stamps, these colors will work really well because even the Calypso Coral is beachy. So you know, just because it pairs with a roses stamp set, the colors that are in the paper will lend itself outside of what they're showing you in the catalog. So just think of the other feels that the paper gives you and use it for those cards that you've got in mind. I've got one more to put on, and then I'm going to step away just briefly so that I can use my embossing folder. It's actually on a little table away from my stamping area. I'm pretty heavy-handed when it comes to cranking things, and I'm always afraid that if I do that right here where I stamp, if you could see my setup in front of me, I've got towers of ink pads, and I just have a feeling that shaking my table, that would all come crashing down. So that's why I step away to do it. So there are the two quilt blocks that you just created. So hi Shelly, how are ya? Okay, so I'm going to step away. I'm going to show you though the embossing folder. This is the embossing folder that coordinates with a stamp set that's in the celebration. And I'm actually going to use the debossed side. So I'm holding my, normally you would see the Stampin' Up! Logo on the front. I'm flipping it over. And I'm putting my quilt block right side up because I want the debossed side. And I'm using this little black line down here at the bottom to help keep me straight. So in just a minute, I will be right back while I quilt my two blocks. So you can look at that one while I'm doing the other one, but I love the debossed side. It looks like hand quilted stitching. And there's the embossed side on the back where it's raised up. But I like the stitching set in because I think it just mimics hand quilting so well. Oops, I just stepped on the cat's tail. Sorry, Cupcake. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Okay, so here I've got my, the quilting's done, but see how you can see how the paper's raised up? To me, I love being able to see the weaving that's in this block. And another thing I like to do is just kind of work my paper, bend it a little bit so it helps pop up the weave that's in the block. And this block can get kind of stiff by the time we put the frame around it. So I want to just kind of help keep it loose. So personal preference, whether you like to see the weave or not, that's up to you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing I want to do is when you run it through the embossing folder and the pressure helps flatten out the paper, look around your block and see if there's anything that needs to be trimmed up, because you want to keep it square. A good way to find that out is placing it on a darker background and see if anything looks out of place and if you need to trim anything up. I think we're pretty good to go on both of these. So if that's the case, then go ahead and glue them down to that layer or frame, mat, whatever you want to call it, that's going to set your quilt block. just try to keep a nice even border all the way around. And then make sure that it's laying flat. Just hold it a few seconds. And again, while the glue is wet, I just want to bend my card to make it a little bit more flexible, or my block, before that glue dries and stiffens up. Okay, so let's do this one. Okay. Press it down, make sure those edges are nice and flat. Oh shoot, I just moved it. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Try this again. I was off a little bit, and I thought if I just force it over a little bit, it would straighten out and the whole thing shifted on me. Okay. I'm going to try and get some of this glue off there. That feels better. Okay, so let's set our blocks aside because now we want to work on putting our card together. Kathy, yes, it's called the Softly Sophisticated Bundle in the Celebration. So, what do you think? Wasn't that star so easy to do? It looks more complicated than what it really was. I hope you like it. I'm going to make so many of these cards. These soft colors really appeal to me also. So let's bring in our card bases. Now, one thing I didn't tell you in the measurements was that, oh my goodness, I got to do this over again. I scored wrong. I scored my paper wrong. I don't know what I did here. Okay, so half of 11 is 5.5. Let's try this again. I'm going to score once and cut once, instead of scoring twice. Okay, let's start over again. There we go. Much better. Much better. I started to bend that cardstock and I'm like, wait a minute, something is really wrong here. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to do one card in portrait with the top fold, the other in landscape with the side fold. We'll do the landscape one first. So these 1.5 by 6 inch pieces of designer series paper, they're actually going to be a band. Oh, we got to do our stamping first. Forget I said that. Okay, we got to do our stamping first. The stamp set that I'm using is called Heartfelt Hellos. It's in the Celebration brochure. I love that you get a Father's Day, a Mother's Day, your Easter, Love You More. This is perfect for Valentine's Day. And then a all occasion hello, enjoy your day. So that is, you can get that with a $50 order. And I am going to use, where is it? Where's my stamp? Oh, I'm going to use the hello. And I am going to stamp in Lost Lagoon, and the other card is going to be Wild Wheat. And I am going to be stamping in the lower right corner on both of them, but one's going to be a different color than the other one. Okay. So there's the Lost Lagoon. I just love this color. And then one of my new favorite colors is Wild Wheat. Not everybody's favorite, but I love it. And I'm going to put this down here. Okay. And I chose a sentiment that would fit the area, the white space that I had left over by the time you're done putting the card all together. Okay, that's all the stamping I'm going to do. Let's just use this one. And I'm not going to use Wild Wheat with Wild Wheat. I want it to be different. So we'll use those on the other card. What I'm going to do is I want to lay this background piece down, but I need to see where, first, where do I want to put my quilt block? And what you'll find is the width or the height of my designer series paper is the same distance in between the points on the star. So that will help you, it helped me try to keep my lines straight when I was putting my designer series paper down. But just to make sure, what I like to do is I like to take a pencil, and on either side of the designer series paper, now I want to make sure that I'm straight. So I'm going to use my grid paper to help me get in the ballpark here. I'm going to line that line up with that one. And I'm just going to draw a little line on both sides of the designer series paper, and that's where I'm going to want my glue to be. And it should be pretty much straight. I'm just going to zigzag back and forth, short zigzags, because I don't want the glue to go beyond my border there. And now I'm just going to set my designer series back down right in the middle of those lines that I created. Okay. Now this other piece is going to be what goes on the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this strip here, line it up with this other one, and then make my same little lines so that it all looks like it just wrapped itself right around the card. Okay. Before I put that other one down though, I'm going to trim off my extra. And then I'll come back in. And put my other one down. It's nice having a longer piece than what you need if you're wanting to be a little fussy about what pattern or color is actually showing up on your card. So I could have moved this any way if I was wanting to make sure that there was something I wanted to be seen on the card. Okay. And now You can use dimensionals if you want to pop up your quilt block. I'm going to keep mine flat. And I am going to glue it down. Oh, I think I was saying earlier, the one thing that I didn't tell you about is I didn't give you dimensions for your card insert because you can finish the inside however you want. I'm going to show you in the examples that I made how I did a couple of them. But for right now, I'm just concentrating on my quilt card. It's very simple. I'm letting the paper and the quilt block do all the work. Okay. And on the back, I'm going to put my little button. Right here. So there's, and then we just got to embellish yet, but let's set this aside and let's get this other one done. So again, bringing in my quilt block, I'm going to see where is it going to set. You're not going to have even sides. I mean, I guess you can if you bring it down, you'll have the sides that are even. I find my lines here to help keep me straight. Put it right up there, right there. Do I like it right there? It's doable. Maybe come down a little bit. I guess that'll work. I wanted my quilt block up a little higher, but I think we're going to try it right there. And again, I'm just going to use the lines on my grid paper. I want to have that designer series paper coming in on that one flat dark line. And we've got a fold here on our one end. Okay, and we'll mark our other side before we do our trimming, because we're going to use this strip as our guide. Now, if you have directional paper, I should mention that if you have directional paper, keep that in mind. This paper is directional, but when you cut up smaller pieces of it, you don't really notice it as much, so I'm not worried about... Oh, wait a minute. Before I do that, especially because this is on the fold, let's get this one trimmed off there. Okay, now we'll finish it. I got ahead of myself the other night playing with doing this and just worked myself right into a corner where I was like, oh, I hope I don't nick this fold, because then my card's going to come apart, because I didn't think about that. I thought, oh, I'll just glue all my strips down and then I'll go back in and trim. And just worked myself right into a corner there. Okay, so got our front and our back. And now I'll just come in and we'll glue down. I can go back and erase those pencil lines also, but let's get our quilt block down. again, I'm going to use the lines created in my star to kind of match up with the border, the strip that's behind it. We're almost done. All we got to do is do our embellishing. Okay, so this is my other one. Whoops. Okay, straight Julie. Okay, so now for embellishing, I want to show you the gems that you can get in the celebration brochure. These are called the opaque faceted gems, and you'll find them on the same page that shows the designer series paper, and you'll also see that they show you it working with the stippled rose bundle from the mini catalog. And I am going to use the pecan pie darker spots. I really can't see pecan pie in the designer series paper, but boy does it complement the colors, the Lost Lagoon and the wild wheat. So it works, but honestly I can't find the color even on the other choice of colored the pattern. Gonna put one of the bigger gems in the center of my star, and then I'm just gonna put two smaller gems in the opposite. Oh, I didn't leave myself a whole lot right there. What if we put them up here? I want to put them in the opposite corner of my sentiment, so my eye is working the whole card. Okay, and then we'll put one here and one there. Okay, so that's it for the embellishing. Now to finish the inside of your card, again, you can do whatever you want to do. On my first set that I did, I just put a white insert on the inside. But then I got to thinking, you know, what if we layered? This is a 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. I wanted a little bit more of a border around it. You could do that on the inside of your card. Here I chose this beautiful pool party that looks like linen. You could finish off the inside of your card with designer series paper. Okay, and so that's the card. So I wanted to show you, there's those two. Here's the other two that I did. So I've got a whole set here with because I was working with 4 different colorways in the designer series paper that I chose for my quilt star. So, and plus my ink is in all those 4 colors. So there I just put the hellos in the opposite corners than what I did there. And on these, I did the designer series paper, but I went 4 by 5 1/4, then 3 3/4 by 5, and it just didn't show enough of the designer series paper, so I made the insert just another 1/4 of an inch smaller for the ones that I'll finish that we did today. And then I want to show you the other colorway in this designer series paper. And this is the Calypso Coral colorway. So you have these. And then you have your Lost Lagoon. Aren't they pretty? I am so tickled about how they turned out. So, yeah, Kathy, I don't think of matting my inserts either. It's not something that I always do, but because the design was so simple on the outside, I wanted to show a way to step up the card a little bit more. So that's why I thought, oh, well, let's put some designer series paper in the center, or on, in the middle of the card also. And you'll notice that when I worked with the Calypso Coral, I pulled out the Pebbled Path color to be my frame for my quilt block, and also the color of my embellishments. So that's it for today. I hope that you have enjoyed this very simple quilt block that I know that you will enjoy. I hope that you put it in your favorites when there's just that one quilt block that you know is easy to put together, doesn't take a lot of time, but packs a pretty good wow. Just because of the texture that you can feel with not gluing the strips all the way down. Just everything about it, I think, just is going to be a go-to for me. So please share your cards that you have made over in the group Quilt Cards and More. Imagine for just a second, what if you took the brights and instead of white, think Amish quilts, okay? So instead of using white, what if you did your background in black to make the bright colors pop? You'll see that in Amish quilts, a lot of times they use a lot of black in their backgrounds to make the bright fabrics really pop off of the quilt. So keep that in mind as something that you can try too if you want to try a different colorway. Just think about contrast. What makes the colors in your quilt block stand out and not get muddied in with the background? Always think contrast. Pick a color that makes your feature stand right out and grab someone's attention. Okay? So, Melanie, did you see that you won the prize for guessing the correct suite? I'm going to send you these 2 packs of embellishments. All of these colors will work in the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper. So please message me your address so that I can mail these 2 packs of embellishments to you. That's it for today, you guys. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have the time to check out what my demonstrator friends are doing on this special day with a new catalog going live. Karen Titus, who is my upline, I think she's doing 4 or 5 Facebook Lives today to showcase the new catalog. So please support your demonstrator friends who are excited about showing you the new product. I hope you can just kind of sit in for the day with a, cup of coffee or whatever you like to drink and just be calm and just be inspired. And then you can make your shopping list on what you want out of the new catalog. Okay, so have a blessed day, and I look forward to seeing examples of your woven stars over in the private group. Talk to you later.